Welcome back to another Defango video. Today we're going to kind of break down something that I wanted to talk about. I gave it a couple of days to roll over, but there's a toxicity problem in Star Citizen, and a lot of people have been making videos and stuff about it, and it all rolls around with Avenger 1's Ring 3 documentary video that seems to Ring 2, sorry. Expose the seedy underbelly of Star Citizen's toxic world. Very similar to how he was claiming to do the same thing with, I believe it was the cheating underworld, as it were. The cheating underworld, as it were. Anyways, as we look at this Rings documentary, we heard him basically get very, very salty about what he was considering people cheating without a whole lot of evidence, almost actually zero evidence. And within this video, we found out that he had created a spy master type organization where they were infiltrating ords and recording people without their permission, so on and so forth, to protect the Avenger One brand. And it was really great for them, even though a lot of people kind of felt that it was a little bit below the belt for him. And then he put out this new video, this new documentary, the Rings 2 documentary. I spent 3 hours going over every little bit of it, but I wanted to boil this down into a video that was more definable. And like the things to really point out here is that, number one, in the first 2 minutes and 50 seconds of the video, he doxed a guy. Right now, it's blurred out because he didn't realize that he left any of that information in there. But first off, good old Avenger Cry or Avenger Run actually decided that it was a good idea in a video that's gone out to, I don't know, 45,000 people. He actually doxed a guy when it first originally went out. Nobody really seems to be talking about that or how that's, shady at any point, but it's whatever. At the same time, within the same video, there's a lot of conversations that are actually recorded between him and other individuals, right? And come to find out, a lot of these individuals didn't even know that these conversations were being recorded. Nolan Templeton never told anyone that he was actually recording these conversations, and I think that that's a huge freaking problem, because that's pretty fucking toxic right there in itself. And then you're making a video about how toxicity in Star Citizen is getting to all high, and it's kind of crazy because to me what I'm really seeing here is a guy that's basically trying to utilize his newly found fame in a community, his voice, to basically start attacking people without actually having any particular evidence of the such. And I mean, it's so crazy to think that this guy is actually going around saying that people doxed him and stuff like that. And honestly, the craziest thing happened today on his stream. Most people wouldn't even have thought about it or even have thought that this would have been a thing, but the guy ordered pizza on his stream, and I'm just going to play the next little clip for you so that you can basically take a gandaroony at it and realize that,
Hey, how's it going? I'm probably the best Star Citizen pilot in the universe. Anyway, I want a pizza, and I want meat lovers.
Okay, your name is...
Oh, I should probably not dox myself.
Yeah, sure, I can tell you.
Wow.
Yeah. Dude doxed himself today. Don't know why he doxed himself today. Is it because he wanted to be able to garner sympathy from individuals because, nobody knew what his name was and nobody knew who he was? It's not like anybody could throw some shit into Google and figure that shit out. But as it were, I kept saying Nolan Templeton because if you guys didn't know, he's been around on YouTube for a really, really long time. He got kind of popular or infamous in a game called EVE Online, where he was one of the most toxic individuals in the game. So I guess he knows a thing or two about toxicity, and he still has his actual channel up where it says Nolan Templeton. And if you Google that, you can find out a lot of information about some of his exploits. So we're going to be making a very long video about all of that so that we can truly understand what's going on with this whole Rings situation, because, he's not the good guy in this situation, and he is most definitely not an observer who is going to be impartial here, okay? Because not only am I seeing toxic shit from these people, at the same time, they're accusing other organizations of being toxic, and one of them is Liberty's Reapers, actually, is because they've they're the ones that are getting called out in this video for being super toxic, right? And sure, maybe it is toxic to run psyop, psychological operations, and create media to make people look bad, but we're having this kind of thing happen at both sides of this thing. But the difference here is that one group is a PvP academy, mostly of a bunch of people who privately can say or do whatever they want to do. And as long as they're not breaking the law, which they haven't broken the law because nobody doxed anybody. Avenger One doxed himself a long freaking time ago. And he tries to act like that information isn't out there, even though months ago, when he was having his beef with the whole hacking situation, he basically, I believe, got doxed again. Well, by the individual, here we go, Avenger One Leshat, actually knew his name back then too. So it's not like this is new information. And I do actually think almost the same thing happened many months ago, where he ordered a pizza, doxed himself, and then basically almost tried to utilize it as a sympathy play if anybody actually started saying his name. And he doesn't want people saying his name because he doesn't want people to find the interconnections to everything that he has done back in the day, like the Bombers Bar and whatnot. He doesn't want people to look into his toxic history because it's actual pattern with him. And right now, the toxicity, I think, of Star Citizen is crazy because they're recording people without their permission. They're freaking leaking information. They're talking about people getting spit on. And let me tell you, I actually discussed with like Buttery and a bunch of the other people in this situation, and they've clarified that, yeah, well, you know, I didn't actually spit on her. I only spit next to her, and I spit on the ground, and she was like, didn't even see it. I was just being funny. And they took that information that was posted in a private Discord channel that they had somebody infiltrate, and then they utilized it as fodder within this video to try to make it out like this whole PvP organization is the worst thing imaginable. Yet when I go back and look at this, like, it's a Star Citizen PvP academy, right? And it's a very, very popular one. But you know what does Avenger One do as well? He also does a PvP academy. He claims to be the #1 Star Citizen PvP stream out there and whatnot. Yeah. Okay. So there's a lot of animosity between these orgs, and sure, stream sniping and targeted harassment are one thing, but you actually have to have evidence of these things for anything to happen. And furthermore, the whole situation with Miss Gabiz in itself is a little bit suspect because, you know, if she actually filed a police report or knew that it had happened, then maybe we could have risen to the occasion of making a huge deal about it. And sure, maybe people shouldn't be spitting at people, whatever, but you know what? I spit on the ground sometimes when I need to spit. I think you do too. Don't fucking lie about it. Either way, overall here, it's not just a system where one side is doing bad, both sides are doing bad, but one side has done much worse here, and that's definitely Avenger One, because he's doing some very shady shit to make his information, to try to attack his enemies, and it's actually kind of in line with the history that he had from like 10 years ago in EVE Online, when he just went by his regular name, Nolan Templeton, and was, you know, kind of like a toxic boss or whatever. He used to be a griefer, and now he's not a griefer, and he's trying to change his ways and be different or whatever. And he's made this claim and he's talked about this stuff before, you know, like there's actual posts from his Discord, you know, March 1st, 2023, he was talking about, yes, they're right. I'm egotistical. I'm toxic. I'm rude and blunt, selfish at times, and I'm human, blah, blah, blah. I'm not the best. And this is all around the same time as what? Oh, right. The last time that he got really pissed off and he started accusing people of cheating, and then he made a big video about a hacking ring that he busted, even though he didn't even stop the hacking ring at all. That hack apparently is still around. And even more so, when he actually posted his video, I got a comment on my Pastebin where I actually keep all of the information about the Nightfire stuff that we researched, and he had posted it, deleted it, That was like 2 days ago, right? And on this comment, he basically showed me that, yes, they're still up and running. They still have a Discord. They're still doing everything. So obviously we had to go in there and scrape everything and add it and send it on over to CIG. But with the advent of the tracker system that we have now it's a little bit easier to start taking data and matching it up to see who's doing what. And even more so, I'm the guy that was like, hey, how did he even know about this in the first place? Him and Hanger 11s and all these other people that had seen these hacks and were making videos about them. How did they get access to them? They would have probably had to have paid the $200, joined the Discord, and paid money on a Patreon, which means that they would probably be somebody on that Patreon. And if they utilized their normal name, they'd be kind of screwed, wouldn't they? And if somebody took screenshots of that and put it out there for the entire world to see, how are you supposed to say that you're not a hacker or accuse people of hacking when you're in the hacking Discord itself? But you ever making any videos or even crying about hacking? That's the thing. And then even more so, when we go back to the place where you actually dox somebody, it seems like these guys have an idea or, really seem to know you quite well and we're discussing you, and somehow you still managed to get all this information because you had a man on the inside, as it were. And why was the man on the inside? Were you guys not getting what you wanted? Was something weird happening? Think about this, you guys. It's all a misdirection play. And even more so, when you look at the Star Citizen community, if you type in Star Citizen Toxic, everybody's talking about that. And they're saying, oh, there's so many toxic people. There's people are bad, blah, 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 blah. But I'm a member of Griefherd. We don't do any of this type of stuff. We just shoot people in the video game. We never take it outside of the game. We post videos. That's it. That's as far as we go outside of the game. But with Avenger One, it seems like he wants to take it even farther, and he's trying to weaponize the community and vis-a-vis all the other streamers, because they're going to see his big video, they're going to start making content about it, they're not going to give it a very good understanding, and then they're just going to say, well, oh yeah, these guys right here, they're bad because they were attacking this person, not even thinking about how fucking crazy it is that they're recording people illegally and shit, and they could be actually taken to jail for that stuff. And for a person that's like a firefighter or some shit like that, it's probably not what you want to hear or what you want to do. And I mean, if the Nightfire guy is saying that I did a better job researching all of this stuff, I'm probably going to have a better job researching the rest of this, because think about it. There's people that are literally going out there spreading disinformation of shit that didn't actually happen, or in the way that they happened, just because they saw an Avenger One video, which is exactly what they want. And then we had guys like Chauncey say, we need to get these people out of our community, and rah, 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 which is toxic as shit in the first place, because how can you be so toxic that you're just gonna let half of that shit slide because it's Avenger One? It doesn't make any freaking sense. And furthermore, this is the same guy that complains about stream sniping when he has a freaking CS5 bounty because people are coming after him, and he's like, oh, I'm gonna freaking combat log because these guys are stream sniping me, when the reality is that they're on his server, they want to take his bounty, they're trying to play the game, and he's basically not letting them do it because, oh, he don't want to die like that. That's toxic behavior 101, friends and family. Just like from Gabby's, the PvP Liberty guy dies in my orb, gets sent to Klesher because he had a CS, gets mad and instantly offends the orb by calling them 6 when their skills are way better than his. Imagine not respecting a PvP org with the female leader in 2023. Yeah, I remember giving Gabby her start on Twitch, hosting her up, getting her up there, and honestly, she was toxic to me the entire time that I was just trying to, I don't know, co-create and stream. Sometimes they would invite me to come stream with them, but then, me talking to my chat and all this other stuff was just a fucking problem. I mean, and furthermore, I got out of the situation and know most of the people involved since back then, so the craziest thing to me is that Gabby's was actually talking about Mental Shock, the guy that died. And if you look at her sub leaderboard, you'll see that Mental Shock gifted 911 subs because he really needed help. And, she's really harping on it. her, Nolan, Avenger One are all harping on this guy's death and trying to utilize it and almost say that Liberty Reapers is the reason this guy killed himself, when essentially that's not even true. Miss Gabiz wasn't around for the last little bit on this guy's stuff. She basically had thrown him to the ropes because he wanted to join the Liberty Reapers front, and then it ended up going badly for him, right? And even more so, there was so much money that went from him to her, and she even talks about trying to force him to quit his job when he seemingly is paying everything that he has into her. It just doesn't make any sense. There has to be some type of love situation involved in here. You know how the internet people are, and they're just almost refusing to talk about it. And even talking to people that were actually his friends before she ever existed, they paint a very different picture of what was going on at this particular time, like where she almost kind of wanted it to be his death happened on this day and so on and so forth. And she wasn't even really that much around for it. And the fact that she's coming back and trying to utilize this situation to be like, oh, they're being toxic to us, they're targeting us. You're targeting them. They're targeting you. Everybody's targeting everybody else. And the reality here is that you're all freaking toxic, including the freaking Star Citizen streamers on this one and the YouTubers, is because nobody is actually wanting to come forward and tell the truth. Nobody should care about any of this stuff. Nobody should be trying to shut down Liberty's Reapers for stuff that they said in private that got leaked toxically, unethically, mind you, and possibly even illegally, because I don't know, recording laws in different states are different. And, just because he lives in a different country doesn't mean that he is immune to those laws, by the way. And that furthermore goes for the people involved. So, has anybody filed any police reports? No, not on any side. Has Nolan, whatever, the Avenger One? No. And you know why? It's because it's all a drama situation, and right now we're watching a psychological operation being done on somebody else because, I got a little bit of clout and credit that I, exposed some cheats, even though I couldn't even give them the Discord or the Patreon. I basically did scratch, I scratched the very surface of this thing and nothing was done about it. CIG hasn't stopped the cheat whatsoever, even though you think it's done and it's in the underground, even though anybody can go and sign up and buy that shit today. So the reality here is that Avenger One and Miss Gabiz are up to no good here, and I'm just disappointed in everyone else that's trying to say, oh well, you're a griefer that you do toxic shit, you kill people in the game, you guys ruin events, whatever. And you know what, fine, that's fine too, but at least we're upfront about it and how we do it. We're not the ones that are being super toxic to you and saying the most horrendous stuff. I've had friends that have gotten 10-year bans on Spectrum for just posting the things that people have said to us because we killed them in a video game. And this is the same type of stuff that Avenger One himself was doing 10 years ago. So if Star Citizen has a toxicity problem, the toxicity problem does not just lie within the community or a small portion of it. And essentially, in fact, the toxicity of the Star Citizen community lies within the content creators themselves, because they constantly are forcing everyone else to try to think the way that they want to think. They want the game to be the way that they want it to be, and they don't give a shit about anybody else's other point of view here. And they're even willing to go forward with information and not even talk about a dude getting doxed or lack of evidence of pretty much every single claim. The only thing that they really got was like, oh, well, they might make videos about me that make fun of me for combat logging. Oh, bad psyop. That was the big culmination of the thing. Oh, fucking send him to jail, right? I mean, I'm pretty sure here, if you haven't figured it out yet, then you're probably not going to figure it out. There is a problem with toxicity in Star Citizen, and it comes from the content creators. And the only thing I'm going to do with this Star Citizen content is keep making griefer content, because I honestly don't care about what those people have to say. I've had interactions with nearly all of them, and the reality here is that if it's not their way, it's the highway, and they're more than willing to create psyops and talk bullshit about people that are just trying to play a video game in their off time. They're not Star citizen their entire lives like some of these people. And just think about that. And if you like what we do here, hit that like button, subscribe, share this with your friends, and I'll definitely probably see you again on this one or on the next one. And remember, it's like toxicity lies here. When you watch that video objectively, you have to say there's no evidence here, but you know what? There's a lot of evidence that fucking Avenger 1 did a bunch of really fucking shady shit. And I mean, should he be the arbiter of truth in these situations if he can't even research it correctly and the people that he's talking about are making fun of him? I don't know. Have a good one. See you later. Bye-bye now.